Good morning. Welcome to episode 4 of The Humble Onion. We're here today making some sweet treats, my friends. We're going to be making some frozen peanut butter and Kit Kat Parfait. Very easy, really simple recipe, a great one to make at home. This is not for the less than sugar inclined. This is a real sweetie. Your friends are going to love it, even if you don't have any friends. More reason to eat a whole peanut butter Kit Kat Parfait. Let's go! This is what we're going to be using today, guys. I use organic free-range eggs. Just like our chicken episode, if you remember, we don't want to eat sad chicken at any stage of its life, including pre-life. Buy good quality eggs. They're a lot easier to work with and they taste better. I have 2 lots of sugar weighed out because we're actually going to separate our eggs and use them differently, so I'll show you how to do that. We need peanut butter. I use super crunchy peanut butter because I like crunchy peanut butter. It's really just going to be a step in the process where we're flavoring our parfait. So you can put whatever flavors you want in at that stage, okay? Jam, whatever you like. You could use Nutella, fruit purees. You could use like a sesame paste, almond butter or cashew, whatever you like. We're also going to be using some Kit Kats. Kit Kat is probably my favorite chocolate. I like salty, sweet things. I also love Maltesers if you ever want to send me presents. I've got the milk one and the gold. But again, this is just flavoring, so do what you want. But if we're making these elaborate things, they might as well be super childish. We're also going to whip some cream. And to stabilize that, we're going to use a little bit of corn flour as well. Really easy equipment-wise. If you have a KitchenAid, you are going to sweat less than I do. But we're going to whisk this by hand just to show you how straightforward that is. You will need a whisk. When it comes to whisks, size matters, okay? You're going to have a lot easier a time with a nice big whisk. And you also need a spatula as well. And just something to smash up our chocolates. We're going to stick some things over a double boiler. It's so easy. Home cooking. First thing we're going to do, we're going to whip our cream. So this whole thing is about making a form of ice cream without using an ice cream machine. We're going to get the air into it, then put it in the freezer and it's going to set, okay? So each step's about the air. We're going to start with the cream. 200 grams of cream. Still weigh everything. People say like 200 mils and a cup of butter and 1,200 tablespoons of honey. That's never going to be accurate, okay? So just weigh whatever you're doing. So there's 200 grams of cream. We're going to whisk this up. It's pretty boring. If you have a KitchenAid, chuck this in the KitchenAid, okay? Cool. So we can see as this gets thicker here now, starting to get thicker, okay? It's not completely whisked up, but it's getting a little bit thicker. This is when we're going to go in with a little bit of corn flour, okay? You're not going to taste at the end. You're not going to know what's in there. It's a very small amount, and all that's going to do is just help to stabilize this, to hold the air in there, okay? We don't want to over whisk it, because that's how you make butter. So this stage here, that's it, okay? That's all we want. Doesn't move very much anymore. We can always give everything a little re-touch up at the end, but this one's going to hold really well. This isn't temperature specific. It's all good. So next step, we're going to separate some eggs. So for our recipe, we're going to use 4 whole eggs separated, 4 yolks, 4 whites. We are using really nice free-range organic eggs. Not only do they taste better, they're actually a lot easier to use when it comes to separating because the whites actually hold together. So when I separate an egg, I crack it into my hand, very gently separate the albumin, which is the white, and that's it. Now, if you're using really rubbish old eggs, yolk is really easy to break and the white is incredibly thin. When you use really nice eggs, you can literally pull the 2 sections of the egg apart. You can also just crack them all into one bowl if you want, and then just kind of fish them out in the same way. Our yolks we will deal with in a bit. They're going to be the last step when we start putting it all together. But the next thing to do is to make a meringue. So the meringue is also going to hold the air in our parfait. There's lots of different meringues that you can make. I'm going to show you a really easy one to do at home. So for our 4 egg whites in here, I have 100 grams of caster sugar, which I'm just going to tip straight in, okay? The reason we can do that is because we're actually going to dissolve our sugar into our egg whites before we start the meringue. So over a double boiler here, over a bain-marie, we're just going to whisk this, just stirring it really, just to make sure that the egg whites keep moving. It's going to get quite loose and easy, and then the sugar's going to dissolve into the egg white. So as soon as when you're whisking, you can't feel that sugar in there anymore, you can't hear it, because it does sound almost like sand in there before it dissolves. So once you can't feel that, it's going to be good. So because our sugar's all dissolved before we start, we're actually giving ourselves a way, way, way bigger window that this meringue is going to hold really well. And now, it's just about whisking it again. It's also really good going at it by hand because we know it's all going to be smooth and uniform. When you're using the KitchenAid, it's really only whipping right in the middle. So some bits tend to be under and some bits tend to be overworked. Awesome. Don't do exercise, it's horrible. So here we have our glossy, lovely meringue. This is what you would call soft peak. It's really, really good. Awesome. Cool, that was the only bit I was worried would stuff up. Okay, so we can actually bring this all together with this next step. So what we're going to do next is make what's called a sabayon. So we're going to whisk sugar into egg yolks over a double boiler. That's going to dissolve our sugar into our eggs just like it did with our meringue. Because we're not heating this up at any stage like an anglaise or a custard, it's never going to come to the boil and dissolve all that sugar. So we want to do that before we fold it all together so that the texture of the parfait is nice and smooth and it's not grainy, you know what I mean? We have 4 egg yolks, obviously. This is 80 grams of sugar. So this is the flavoring stage as well of our parfait. So I'm going to go in with some vanilla. I like the vanilla in there. I really enjoy it. I think it's worth it. But if it's not for you, don't worry about it. Get it all nice and smooth. And then this is going to sit here over our pot. It's just on low. We never really want it to come up much more. Now, with the meringue and the cream, we're really giving it a lot because that's just about how quickly you get the air in. So the faster you go, the shorter it is. This is also about bringing the temperature of the egg yolks up. So what we're looking for with this, I love that you can just speed through all that. What we're looking for with this is really to hold a figure 8 3 times. So when you do a figure 8 3 times with your mix, you should still be able to see the first one by the time you're doing the last one. As long as we're dissolved and the egg yolks are nice and thick and pale. Thick and pale. It's a handle I have on a few websites. I think we're looking pretty good here. Holding a figure 8, which is really, really good. We know this is nice and thick. Our peanut butter, if we mix it in now, it's going to be lumpy and it's not going to go in very well into our mix. I'm just going to put some of this in a bowl. For the recipe, this is about flavor now at this stage, so I'm going to go in with a fair bit of peanut butter because I really like it. I want that salt and I want the texture. On our double boiler, so it just starts to soften ever so slightly, and that's going to make it a lot easier to mix into our egg yolks here, okay? What we're going to do now is bring together all of our elements, and that's about it. Our peanut butter's pretty much softened. If you have a microwave, chuck it in the microwave. Absolutely fine, I just don't have one at home. So we're just going to mix this through. Now everything after here, we're trying to think about the air that we've worked so sweaty and hard to get into our product, okay? So I don't want to knock all this air out. Peanut butter's a thing. Now we're going to start folding, okay? So I'm going to start with the cream. See how well this is held, and we did it right before. We're just going to fold this in. We're going to lose this air, okay? So don't worry about it. Just fold it to soften the whole mix up. We're going to go in with more cream. What's really important when you watch the folding, we never want it to go to being fully incorporated, because if you wait for it to be completely smooth before adding in more mix, you're going to have knocked out way too much air, okay? So it's about just waiting until it's most of the way there, like this, and then we're going to go in with more cream so that we can keep the air in there. After our cream's mostly in there, we're going to start in with the meringue, okay? Now the meringue is going to hold a lot of our air. That's what we're really about. So the meringue starts going in. You're going to see this mix pick up a lot of volume, but also get nice and thick as well, okay? From the outside and fold it over. That's about it. And just make sure you mix in the middle as well. So look how firm this is now. It looks brilliant. It smells brilliant. Everything's brilliant. That's brilliant. So this is mostly incorporated now. Our last thing to go in is our Kit Kat pieces. I use a mortar and pestle for this because I'm pretentious. Just give this a bit of a thump. We want them all different sizes, all different shapes. What I'm actually going to do with mine is just to layer some of this in the bottom of the mold, okay? So that when we turn this out, there's actually going to be crispy crunchies sitting on the top of our parfait. The physical, let's call them shards of Kit Kat that we're adding, are actually going to cut the pockets of air that are in this, okay? You mix the Kit Kat in at the beginning though. As you're folding, those bits are actually gonna mess with the air that we're trying to keep in here, okay? So we're just gonna fold them in right at the end. It's actually 11 o'clock in the morning here in Perth as we film. This will be my breakfast. We just pour this into our mold here. Oh, beautifully smooth and light. Get all our extra bits in there. We do want to smooth this off on top, so it's all nice and even. We're just going to give it a very light little scene to, that's it. But we just want to make sure that there's no pockets forming inside of air. We're going to clean it off because we're professionals. This is going to go in the freezer now. Look, you can say like, oh, 8 to 12 hours. Do it overnight at least, you know what I mean? I'm going to give this one 24 hours, so at the time we're going to pull this out of the freezer in 24 hours. So it's 24 hours later, and we have our beautiful parfait here. We're going to turn it out, and we're going to see what we've got. I'm pretty excited. Flip this out here. Gentle. Awesome. Look at this! All our lovely, crunchy Kit Kat on top. It's set really well. The texture is wonderful. So the sugar is actually what lowers the setting point of the water that's in our cream, the water that's actually in our egg whites. If we didn't put that much sugar in, what you'd get would be a very hard, icy block. This is really good to be making for dinner party, for friends. Oh my. Absolutely beautiful. And we can just garnish with even more of our crushed Kit Kat pieces. It's not going to make you skinny, but it might make you smile. Absolutely worth it. So very simple, easy recipe to make for your friends, make for yourself, you're having an event, whatever you want. Oh man. And that's it. It's wonderful. Oh my God. Look how soft this is. It's beautifully soft. It's like making fresh ice cream for yourself at home. Like, what more do you want? This is wonderful. This would impress the crap out of you, friends. I'm impressed. I made it. Fantastically good. Guys, thank you so much for watching another video. Please comment. Please tell me what you hate or what you love about what we're doing. Please let me know if you're making this at home. I would love to see what you make. Comment, tag us in it. Thanks so much for sticking with us. Happy cooking. Oh, old mate's licking me whisk. Old mate's licking me whisk.